I recently received a message from a viewer of the Ancient Architects channel asking about something they had spotted in a video by my good friend History for Granite. Back in March 2023, when he analysed the newly discovered north face corridor in the Great Pyramid, at 3 minutes and 48 seconds into his video, Granite shows this still of the Great Pyramid chevron blocks. The eagle-eyed viewer spotted something on the upper right chevron, a square panel of hieroglyphs etched in stone. It's really hard to see in this picture, and, truth be told, it's really hard to find any good quality pictures full stop. Maybe because this part of the pyramid is off limits to the public. But I already knew the history of these hieroglyphs, and I couldn't believe after all these years I've never made a video on this subject. So, who made this inscription on the Great Pyramid limestone, and what does it say? Well, in this video, you'll find out. Hello everybody, and welcome to Ancient Architects. Please subscribe to the channel for regular content on ancient architecture, as well as all of the latest news from the world of archaeology. I'm sure that many of you are surprised to learn there are hieroglyphs on the entrance chevrons of the Great Pyramid, and you're probably wondering why you've never heard of them until now. I remember many years ago when I saw them for the first time, and I got excited about their origins. They are etched straight onto the limestone block, shown here on a picture taken by Larry Orcutt for the brilliant catchpenny.org website. Link below in the description. Apart from the crude work gang graffiti in the relieving chambers, it's often said the Great Pyramid has no hieroglyphic inscriptions. But just look at this square panel, in a prime location on the pyramid's exterior, so neatly incised into the stone it wouldn't be out of place on a monument dedicated to Ramesses the Great. Here is a more detailed picture that shows the specific hieroglyphs. Straight away in the pyramid symbol stands out, the Khufu cartouche is just below, and the whole piece really looks like a beautifully laid out panel of ancient writing. It's also quite fine work, very neat and tidy. But what does it say? Well, it starts by saying, quote, "Thus speak the servants of the king, whose name is the sun and rock of Prussia, Lepsius the scribe, Erbcum the architect, the Weidenbach brothers the painters, Frey the painter, Frank the moulder, Bonamy the sculptor, Wild the architect. Hail to the eagle, protector of the cross, to the king, sun and rock of Prussia, son of the sun that liberated the fatherland, Friedrich Wilhelm IV." End quote. Friedrich Wilhelm IV was King of Prussia from June 7th, 1840, until his death on January 2nd, 1861. Yes, these hieroglyphs are not ancient. In the quote I just read, I also mention the name of the man responsible, immortalised in the Great Pyramid stone as Lepsius the scribe, but better known to us as Carl Richard Lepsius, a Prussian Egyptologist and linguist who was born in 1810, living to the age of 73. Lepsius was commissioned by Wilhelm IV to lead an expedition to Egypt and the Sudan, to explore and record the remains of the ancient Egypt civilization. The Prussian expedition was modelled after the earlier Napoleonic mission, with a team made up of a number of specialists, including surveyors, draftsmen, and well, if we look back at the hieroglyphic inscription, painters, a sculptor, a moulder, architects, and a scribe. After their arrival in Egypt in 1842, the team spent several weeks in Alexandria preparing for their trip. The expedition set sail for Cairo on October 1st, 1842, arriving at Giza soon after, and then they spent the next 6 months making some of the first scientific studies on the pyramids. And no, not just at Giza, but also Abu Sir, Saqqara and Dashur. They uncovered and recorded 130 tombs of noblemen, as well as 67 pyramids. And it's from this mission that we get the famous Lepsius list of pyramids. The list is the first attempt at systematically recording all of the pyramids of Egypt, a pioneering effort that helped lay the groundwork for all pyramid research that came after. But Lepsius doesn't really give us any great detail on the pyramids. It's only really a superficial look at these amazing ancient structures, but the cataloguing is what is considered important. This beautiful watercolour that was painted by Johann Jakob Frey in 1842 shows the members of the Prussian expedition celebrating the king's birthday on top of the Great Pyramid and raising a flag in his honour. Frey was the expedition's draftsman, and I love the detail in his picture, showing the summit of the Great Pyramid, a great representation of the Khafre Pyramid behind, the Menkaure Pyramid further behind, and more pyramids in the distance. But as well as celebrating the king's birthday on top of the Great Pyramid, that being on October the 15th, 1842, Lepsius also made this inscription in honour of the king. As you can see, there's 11 columns of hieroglyphs. The first 2 columns mention the names of the expedition members, Carl Richard Lepsius, George Erbkum, the Weidenbach brothers Ernst and Maximilian, Johann Jakob Frey, Carl W. Frank, and Joseph Bonamy Jr. These men are described as servants to the king, and this panel was made in the king's honour to celebrate his birthday. Today, we'd call this inscription the defacing of an ancient monument, and quite rightly so. But now that this graffito is more than 200 years old, there's something I just, well, like about it. Maybe it's because I'm fascinated by the subject of historic pyramid exploration, all the way from Al Mamun to Napoleon, Cavalier, Weiss and Lepsius and beyond. Yes, it is inscribed graffiti, but it also captures a moment in history, when Lepsius arrived at Giza on a trip that would lead to the famous Lepsius Pyramid List being created. From the years 1842 to 1845, many of the great monuments in Egypt, Nubia and Sinai were recorded, as Lepsius wrote down the details and draftsmen sketched the array of tombs and temples in the Nile Valley. With the cooperation of Muhammad Ali, the de facto ruler of Egypt from 1805 to 1848, a staggering 15,000 artefacts were taken out of Egypt to Berlin. Lepsius then created his 12-volume masterpiece of work and would go on to become a dominant figure in the subject of Egyptology. He would then go on to take the position of scientific director at the Egyptian Museum in Berlin and then director in 1865. So that's the history of the hieroglyphic inscription on the exterior of the Great Pyramid, a graffito that has caused a lot of confusion over the years, and well, it still does today. And for those that want to know, I'll now continue where I left off with the English translation of the inscription, explained by Lepsius himself in a letter dated January the 17th, 1843. Quote, Friedrich Wilhelm IV, the loving father, the father of his country, the gracious one, the favourite of wisdom and history, the guardian of the Rhine, whom Germany has chosen, the dispenser of life. May the Most High God grant the King and his wife, the Queen Elizabeth, the rich in life, the loving mother, the mother of the country, the gracious one, an ever vibrant and long life on earth, and a blessed place in heaven for eternity. In the year of our Saviour, 1842, in the 10th month, on the 15th day, on the 47th birthday of His Majesty, on the pyramid of King Cheops. In the 3rd year, in the 5th month, on the 9th day of the reign of His Majesty, in the year 3164, from the beginning of the Slothic period under the King Menethus. End quote. So, That's what's written for eternity on the exterior of the Great Pyramid. And for anyone that wants to know more, I've left a number of useful links in the description below. And also, if you ever spot any interesting curiosities at the pyramids, please don't hesitate to get in touch, and then we can delve into another mystery. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Ancient Architects. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, please like the video, and please leave a comment below. Thank you very much.